Maybe you've noticed this recent trend in YouTube titles of "give me X amount of time, and in return you'll receive this potentially incredible benefit to your life. Give me 8 minutes and I'll improve your communication skills by 88%. Give me 9 minutes and 2025 will be your best year yet. If you can spare me 6 minutes, you'll get 10 years of your life back." What? There's another variation on this that goes like, "It took me 30 plus years to realize what I'll tell you in 10 minutes. It took me 40 years to realize what I'll tell you in 8 minutes. Like, here's this incredibly profound knowledge that took me most of my life to understand, but you'll get to know it in just a small fraction of that time." Now, these titles certainly seem to offer, to use a word I don't particularly like, a strong value proposition. You invest a very small amount of your time and in return receive some extremely valuable advice. I mean, all you need to do is give this guy 5 minutes in order for him to save 5 years of your life. Whatever that means. I mean, you'd have to be a fool not to take that deal. So where does this end? What's the smallest amount of time you can watch a video for while receiving the maximum possible benefit? This guy claims that 59 seconds will change your life, but surely we can do better than that. I think it's interesting that we live in an age where we all sense that our time is valuable, is very precious, and yet most of us also waste incredible amounts of time almost every day. I don't know about you, but when I see one of these titles, my first reaction is to be like, can I spare that amount of time? And then I go on to effortlessly waste far more than that amount of time by just surfing around and watching like 30 seconds of a bunch of different videos without committing to finishing any of them. Anyway, I don't need to tell you that social media has ruined our attention spans, or that YouTube titles tend to be a little bit hyperbolic. But how well do some of these videos deliver on their bold promises? Well, I have given the requested time to a number of these different videos, and a lot of it is pretty standard fare for the self-improvement, motivational genre of YouTube content. If you've consumed a decent amount of this stuff, and I'd say that I have, you quickly realize that the basic advice that you need for life is pretty easy to understand and pretty universal, so what you end up hearing is just a bunch of different spins on the same basic concepts. But there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I think a lot of times we humans do just need to keep hearing the same messages over and over again in order for it to really sink in for us. And some of the perspectives in these videos are really quite interesting and heartfelt and might be exactly the thing you need in order to make 2025 your best year ever. Okay, to be honest, I thought this one was pretty generic and not particularly inspiring, but what do I know? One theme that comes up again and again in these videos is time, specifically how valuable and precious our time is. Just like I was saying before, this is especially relevant today when it just feels so easy to waste time. I mean, if I'm being honest, when I look back at my own life, really starting in college and continuing into my 20s and now even into my 30s, it really is easy to just feel dismayed at the amount of time I've wasted over the years, just getting distracted when I should have been focused on a project, or mindlessly amusing myself when I could have been developing a new skill, and on and on and on. And I say this as someone who doesn't even really believe that hyperproductivity is a good goal to aspire to. I think it's important to take time to just chill and let certain days be lazy, and not to beat yourself up too much if you feel like you haven't gotten to where you want to be in life yet. But still, when you look back, it's hard not to have regrets about time that could have been better spent. But all you can really do is accept that that time is gone and look to the future in order to plan how you want to spend the next year, week, day, or moment. Sorry, now I'm veering into predictable self-improvement / motivational spiel. Look, I don't need to make a big deal over something that's probably just a random trend in YouTube titles, but I do think it says something about where we're at as a society. Seeing all these creators essentially begging you to give them your undivided attention for just a handful of minutes or seconds seems like a perfect encapsulation of the so-called attention economy. It's the game that virtually all of us content creators are playing, just trying, hoping to get enough people to pay enough attention so that the algorithm continues to recommend our content and allows our influence and subscribers and view counts to grow. In a way, these titles are just a very straightforward and honest request for you to give to these creators the most valuable commodity you can offer them, which is, of course, your time and attention. But what they are claiming to offer in return for that time and attention seems to just be getting steadily more and more ridiculous. Take this one. I thought it was actually a pretty good video about improving your communication skills, but why is it 8 minutes for an 88% improvement? Why not a 100% improvement or a 200% improvement? I guess it just looks cool because all three of the numbers are 8s. The thing about YouTube titles in general is at this point, we're all used to a certain level of clickbaitiness. And deep down, when you see that 88% thing, you know that it's just a meaningless number that was tossed in there, but it still somehow makes you curious. It's interesting. When someone promises to change your life in 59 seconds, your first instinct is probably to be highly skeptical of that claim, but there's still that little bit of nagging doubt. What if this time it really is exactly what I need to see to change my life? And to be fair, if one of these videos does just happen to be the exact right message that you needed to hear right at that exact time, it really could be life-changing enough to live up to whatever crazy promise it makes in the title. But most of the time, it's not. It's just another video. The other problem that I think sort of applies to the entire self-improvement genre is that there are just certain lessons in life that you need to learn for yourself. No matter how many times you hear someone say, for example, that fame and success doesn't bring happiness. If those are things that you want, there's still that stubborn part of your brain that says, well, no. For me, when I get the fame and success that I need, I really will be happy. It's great to hear the knowledge that it took someone 30, 40, even 50 years of their life to learn, but no matter how much sense what they're saying makes to you, you just know that at some level you really will have to experience it for yourself and learn the same lessons and make the same mistakes that they did while you're on your own journey of self-discovery. This is turning into a self-improvement video again. All right, well, I don't need to take up any more of your precious time and attention, but I do think it's worth reflecting on and understanding why certain things do tend to reliably steal more and more of your time and attention. Watch as many videos with this weird style of title as you want. Just don't get too disappointed when none of them seem to quite be that magic solution that they promised to you. I'm sure this one certainly was not.